Madam
Well, I need a little
Secretary.
help from a chair that respects the members of the
Madam
committee. I'm sorry, Madam
Secretary.
Chair. This is,
You pretty much secured the southern border, haven't you?
Yes, sir. The CBP,
And
this president have.
that upsets some of my colleagues, doesn't it? They say you've done it the wrong way, haven't they? Could you answer that?
Yes, sir. They do say that.
Do you think they're upset because you supposedly did it the wrong way, or you think they're upset that you did it at all?
I think they're upset that by President Trump enforcing the law, it happened so quickly and successfully.
Yeah. Now, when President Biden came into office, the first thing he did was get rid of all of the things we were doing to stop people from coming into our country illegally, didn't he?
Yes.
I mean, it was like the Price is Right. Come on down. Except he said, come on in. And most of my Democratic colleagues went along with that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
In fact, they cheered him on, didn't they? Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
How many people do you think President Biden let into our country illegally? Just give me a ballpark figure.
Sir, we don't know for certain, but we believe it could be upwards to 20 million people that are illegally in this country.
So that's like adding 10 Nebraskas to our country, isn't it?
That's correct.
Why do you think President Biden and my Democratic colleagues did that? Do you think they believe in open borders?
I think they believed in open borders and letting people come into this country that would affect our society and criminals. Those other countries emptying out the worst of the worst, their mental institutions, their prisons came in here and jeopardized, and known terrorists.
Well, only one or two circumstances are possible, it seems to me. Either President Biden and the Democrats who supported him believe in open borders, or the people that President Biden put in charge of securing the border, you wouldn't trust to run a snowball stand, right?
That is correct.
So nobody is that incompetent. So it has to be, they just believe in open borders, do they not?
Yes, because I know the people who were securing the border and they weren't allowed to do their
Do
job.
you think they believe that vetting people at the border is racist?
Yes, I do. I think by the way they allowed people in and granted them immediate parole
Do
status.
you think that President Biden and some of my Democratic colleagues, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush, Madam Secretary, thought of these foreign nationals in our country illegally as potential new voters?
I do, sir.
Okay. If you're an ordinary American and you oppose illegal immigration, but you support legal immigration, does that make you a racist?
No, sir. No, sir, not at all. It just means that you believe there should be a rule of law, and that's what America was built on.
And that's what you've been enforcing, right?
Exactly. We have been following the Constitution and the rule of law in this country.
And I want to be sure I understand, because there's been a lot of confusing testimony here. You've secured the border, have you not?
This administration has, yes, sir.
And some of my colleagues are upset with you,
Yes, sir.
and they say you did it wrong.
Yes, sir.
And do you agree with me that what they're really upset about is that you did it at all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you a last question about our federal judiciary. I've said repeatedly that all of us has a moral and a civic obligation to follow federal orders, and I stand by that. But there have been a lot of national injunctions, universal injunctions issued to try to stop you from doing your job. Where were these judges when people were breaking the law and coming into our country illegally? Were any of them speaking up and issuing national injunctions against the Democrats?
I don't believe I can be specific about every single judge, but these judges that now are trying to stop us from enforcing our laws, I don't believe or recall them.
Can you
being
think,
vocal then.
Madam Secretary, of one single solitary federal judge who, when President Biden and my Democratic colleagues, not all of them, but many of them,
Gentleman's time has expired.
Secretary or Senator Murray went on over about 2 minutes, so I'm going to take a minute.
Senator
Well,
Van
if
Hollen
you
just got
can-
shut down.
Yes,
right
if
on
you
the
can,
zeros.
if you can finish your question.
Can you recall one single solitary federal judge when President Biden and my Democratic colleagues were letting 20 million people come into the country illegally?
I don't recall.
Can you think of
Thank
one
you.
single solitary judge
you.
that issued a national injunction
more
to
than one
stop
question.
them?
No, I can't recall
I
one.
can't either. If there weren't
you,
for
Senator
double
Kennedy.
standards
Madam
around
Chair,
here,
Okay.
Madam
there
And
wouldn't
so
be any
Senator Peters-
standards at all, Madam
have any
Secretary.
Thank you.
Committee
Thank you,
down there.
Senator Kennedy.
I'd-
Senator Peters.
Madam, let me just say, let's apply the rules fairly. Senator Van Hollen was asking tough questions, but was shut down pretty immediately when his time was expired. Can we at least have a commitment, Madam Chair, that senators on this committee will be allowed to submit questions for the record,
Absolutely.
and that you will
Yes.
Absolutely.
ask the secretary to answer those questions?
Welcome back to Crossline Politics. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you real conversations that matter to the future of this country. What we just watched was a tense exchange where Senator Kennedy pressed the secretary on one of the most critical issues facing America today: border security. He asked a simple question that too many in Washington avoid. Did this administration secure the border? And if so, why are some lawmakers angry about it? The secretary's answers were clear. She believes the border was secured under strict enforcement and that the pushback wasn't about the methods, but about the results. Senator Kennedy raised the concern that when President Biden came into office, his first move was dismantling the policies that slowed illegal crossings. According to the secretary, that reversal invited millions into the country. Potentially up to 20 million people. That's not a small number. That's a seismic shift. And as a patriot, you don't have to be on the left or the right to understand the consequences of that. Any nation that cannot control who enters its borders loses the ability to protect its people. That is not racism. That is the basic responsibility of a sovereign nation. Kennedy pushed further, raising questions about open border ideology, lack of vetting, and whether some politicians viewed illegal immigrants as future voters. Whether you agree or disagree with his framing, the underlying concern is real. The rule of law must apply, or it means nothing. And when he turned to the federal judiciary, he pointed out a striking imbalance. Judges now stepping in to block enforcement didn't seem to step in when previous policies opened the border. Whether you see that as politics or coincidence, it reveals a system that too often reacts selectively rather than consistently. As a patriot, my takeaway is simple. America can be a nation of immigrants and still demand secure borders. We can welcome people the right way without encouraging chaos. We can show compassion without sacrificing safety. And if lawmakers are upset that the border was secured, not because of how it was done, but because it was done at all, then we have a much deeper conversation to have about priorities in Washington. Thanks for watching Crossline Politics. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown. We've got more straight talk coming your way.